Welcome to the Lighthouse. Today we're going to be having some readings from the Bible and some space to rest and reflect in the presence of God. So I want you to take a moment to get yourself in a place where you feel comfortable. That can be sitting down or even lying down, wherever you feel comfortable. And I invite you to take some deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. I'd like you to now pick a colour. It can be whatever colour you wish. I personally prefer a warm colour, but you might choose something different. And I want you to picture that colour resting on your toes. Slowly that colour is going to move through your body, and each part that it touches, it will send into a deep relaxation as your body is not needed in this time. So think of that colour resting on your toes and moving to the base of your feet. Feel them being grounded. If you're sat down, feel them anchored on the floor. That colour moves now into your ankles, resting and telling them to switch off. We now move into your calves. Feel that colour releasing the tension. We move into the knees and feel them let go too. Now into your thighs and hips. Remembering at all times to take deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. We move now into the upper part of your body, into your stomach, and slowly to your ribs, and to your shoulders. Just feel the tension ease. And we he moved down both arms. They're not needed. Not at this time. We come back up to the neck. Perhaps we move it around from side to side, allowing that colour to release some of the tension that is so often built up in that area. Finally, we allow the calm to move to our heads, our brains and our minds. And we ask them to open up, to open our inner eye, our sense of imagination and wonder. Take a deep breath in and then out. It's been such a difficult few months, so take this time to rest and recharge in the presence of God. We hear now a story from the Gospel of Mark, a story of unending hope and never giving up in the presence of God. And as I read this story from the Gospel, I invite you to open your minds, picture the scene, and feel the emotions. The story is from Mark's Gospel, chapter 5, verses 21 to 43. When Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake, a large crowd gathered round him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders, named Jairus, came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her, so that she will be healed and will live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed round him, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors, and had spent all that she had. Yet, instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, "If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed." Immediately, her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned round in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." He did not let anyone follow him, except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion, with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him, and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said, "Talitha cum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. At this they were completely astonished. He gave strict instructions not to tell anyone about this, and told them to give her something to eat. Here is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. However hard things may be, however bleak and desperate the situation might appear, we know through Christ there is always hope. And may our faith set us free from doubt, free from worry, and free from the stresses of this world. Amen. Now take another deep breath in and out, and slowly open your eyes and regain your sense of presence. May you always find a safe space in the presence of God, a lighthouse in the storm, a place of hope, a place of sanctuary, and a place of blessing. This I pray through the name of the all-powerful, all-loving Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you for sharing this time together and joining us once again on the Lighthouse. I pray that you have a pleasant day and a pleasant week, and you may know the fullest blessings of God and the hope of a life assured in Him. Amen.